few months ago, I flew into Zambia as a guest speaker at an international conference. And the conference was titled, I Am Next. Okay? So many speakers came in. As they were speaking, I sat down on a seat, and God showed me the title, I Am Next. And what came to my spirit was, when you hear that term, I am next, what comes to your mind? You're next for what, right? You're next for something. So you say that you're next for blessing, you're next for prosperity, you're next for upliftment, you're next for a new car. How many of us want a new car? Everybody, right? So you're next for a new car, or you're next for a new husband. How many of you want a husband? You're next for promotion. How many of us want promotion? Okay? Now, but think about that word for a minute. When you say, I am next, there is a legal justification behind the word. So imagine we are on a queue. Okay? And you said, I am next. The reason you are able to say, I am next, is either because when you arrived, everybody was given a tag. Make sense? So as you go to the tag, you know by the justification of the numbering of the tag, I am next. Is that correct? Okay? Now, when you say you are next, it means there is a legal backing to why you are next. Now, let me explain what I mean. In my job, I travel a lot. I travel all the time. So I am what you might call a platinum member on my airlines. Okay? So I'll tell you what happened one day. So one day, I spent too long in the VIP lounge. I think I was quite tired, that I forgot my flight time. So I looked at my clock. I discovered that the time is getting time to board. So I'm rushing through the airport, like literally rushing. Now watch. As I'm rushing towards the airport, all of a sudden, in the middle of the rush, escaping people to get to my boarding point. Are you following me? Then I remembered, but wait a minute. I'm a platinum member on this airline. So I have to remind myself that why am I in a hurry? You know why? Because if you travel as a platinum member, whenever I get to the boarding station, everybody else stops and I am next. So I am not next because I was in a hurry. Follow me? I am not next because I am handsome. Even if you don't agree, me, I know I am handsome. I am next because I have spent time, money, and resources, follow me, building a profile on the airline where I have graduated from a blue member to a silver, from a silver to gold, and from gold to platinum. So whenever I get to the point of boarding, the boarders literally stop everybody else and say, Dr. Odon, you are next. So, when you say you are next, the question is, what have you done? What is the legal backing you have towards the proclamation that you are next? How many of us went to work this week? You were at work this week. Okay? So let's quickly estimate the time it takes in a week for you to work. Because I want to speak about work today. Is that okay? Speak about work? Beautiful. So, how many hours averagely does the average person work in a day in Accra? How many hours a day? 8 hours? Now, remember that your 8 hours actually mean the 8 hours you are already in the office. Then you start counting. But normally you wake up 2 hours before you begin the progression towards the 8 hours. Is that correct? And then what happens, so if you add 2 hours, that's the 10 hours. So after work, knowing Accra traffic, how long does it take you to get home? Pardon? 2 hours? So add 2 hours to the 10 hours. How many hours now? 12 hours. So when you get home, do you just get to the house and just leave the car and straight into bed? Not really. So what do? You have a shower, you feed the kids, and then you start preparing for work. How many hours do you say that is? And two hours? For the mothers, maybe 3 hours minimum. How many hours is that in a week, in a day? 15 hours, right? Good. So now watch. So that happens all week. 15 hours. How many hours in a day? 24 hours. So 24 hours by 15 hours. That you have about mathematicians. What is left in the day? In 15 hours. So 9 hours left. So averagely, you might sleep, say, for 5-6 hours. Okay? And even sometimes in the sleep, you are still working. Especially if your boss gave you a deadline. You are estimating and calculating how you will resolve this report in the middle of sleep. Maybe let's add an extra 1 hour. Making sense? Now, this is where it gets interesting. So, you tell yourself that on Saturday, you will catch up with your own free time. Who can tell me what happens on Saturday? Then all the in-laws and the children and the partners, then they remember you are free on Saturday. So what happens? Saturday begins before you know it. Saturday as what? Has ended. Then you tell yourself, by the way, you are having these conversations with yourself. And you tell yourself, I dedicate Sunday to the Almighty. Lord, I love you so much. Sunday is yours. So what happens on Sunday? You come to church, and then in the middle of service, because now you are paying for the stress of the entire week, in the middle of service, you start sleeping. So even the time you allocated to God in your brain, your small brain, you are still stealing from it. You think you can keep doing that and keep telling God, I am next. Are you joking? You know God is a spirit, right? You know God is a spirit. You keep doing this routine, and you keep telling God you are next, and you are wondering why you are not being next. It's the long time you've been next. I was talking to Pastor, Reverend, in the office, and I said, I flew into Nigeria for a meeting with some vice chancellors, and a pastor owns a church in Port Harcourt, Nigeria, and he invited me over to give a message. And it was on a Wednesday, so it's a midweek message. So in this office, he started apologizing in advance because he was saying, oh, sorry, sir, you came in the midweek where people don't really come to church. And immediately he said it, I was grieved in my spirit. So when I came on the pulpit, I asked everybody, I said, the very few who were in the church, I said, if Pastor announced last Sunday that coming Wednesday, an investor, a sponsor was coming to service, and he's been impressed with his work, that he wanted to bless the church, and he was going to give everybody a check of $2,000 each on a Wednesday service, what do you think would happen? Then all of a sudden you become an evangelist. You start inviting your friends. When last did you come to church? When is this service will be powerful? The Ancient of Days. I don't think you have an idea what you're doing. The Ancient of Days. The one who before the beginning began, he began. Now, so you spend that long, 70% of your available time after sleep working. And God is a jealous God. There's a reason why. Because you've separated work and worship. So you are here now. Now listen very carefully. Because God showed me this. You are here now at this morning, this time, because you need to hear this. Okay, God is about to change your life like you would never imagine. Not because I said so, because God is a God of contract. I was listening to a pastor preach. I think the message was about 25 minutes. And I just sat down listening. And it was interesting that for almost 20 minutes of the message, all he was doing was just pronouncing blessings on the church. Blessing is fantastic. It's amazing. But the Bible I read shows to me that God is a shall God. I will say what I mean. He that believeth and is baptized shall be saved. He that dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide. This book of the law shall not depart from your mouth, but you shall meditate upon it day and night, and then you shall. It's a God of contract. Draw near to me, and I shall draw near to you. So what happened to your own part of the equation? The queue, the line of people who are saying I am next is very long. That's why you've been on that line for a long time. So I want to advise you this morning to move to another queue. The queue of people who are saying, Lord, use me is very short. The queue of people who say, God bless me is long. The queue of people who say, God use me is short. So if you join that queue today, I can assure you it will happen quick. And look at the beautiful thing about God. God can bless you and not use you. But it is impossible for God to use you and not bless you.